episode 21. No,
22.
22.
22, baby. 22 on the timer.
There
Yes,
we go.
No. Hi.
Hi, Yvonne here.
Jennifer.
So,
so I have 3 different names, just so you know.
3?
Yes. Jennifer, Jempifer, and Jennifer.
Okay.
Sorry, just like, from 2 small boys who can't say Jennifer. So
okay.
one of them says Jennifer.
Jennifer? Oh, that's
Jennifer,
cute.
and the other one says Jennifer.
Okay.
Because I don't think he can say Jennifer, so he says Jennifer. Jennifer. My daughter just thought that one is Jennifer, because Germany, like
right.
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
And she just said, you should tell him your name is Jennifer. And we crack up about it. So anyway, sorry. Jennifer here.
Jennifer. Oh yeah, it's better than Ifona. I actually had somebody at a bank ask me if that was my name.
Ifona.
Like, I think she was Russian. Like, no, it's, yeah, anyway.
How people say your name in different countries, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, sorry, that was just definitely...
Okay, so, that's...
Welcome back to our podcast. And
we just start off on a tangent.
Thank you for joining us today for episode 22.
Exactly.
So that's how we should start.
That's how we normally start, but, yeah, okay.
And as always, we're sitting here, and I said, "Girl, we should be recording." So I'll let you take over.
Okay, so
we're for context, we were talking about old patterns, negative talking, negative thinking, and Yvonne was, going over the story of what happened to her. Was that yesterday? The day before yesterday?
It was the day before yesterday.
At work with her manager, boss. About you go ahead.
Yeah. So long story short was
no, do the long.
Okay, let me do the long story.
Do it, no, girl.
This episode is gonna be 3 hours long. No, I'm just kidding. So what happened was so this is the way my work works. Before the end of the month, my manager, our manager, sends out a group WhatsApp and asks for dates that we cannot work because we are all part-time employees. Some people work even less than part-time. And so there are plenty of us to cover every shift. So she always asks if there's appointments that we have where we cannot work. So I had sent her my list, and this month my list was
this Saturday or next Saturday.
Next Saturday. I only had a couple of appointments that I said, these are the days that I can't work, or, I can't work from this time to this time. Like this evening is a time that I can't work because I have a class.
Yeah.
And so next Saturday, I have an acquaintance who's getting married, and we are traveling to the Black Forest for her wedding. That includes an overnight stay. So that means there's a hotel that's been paid for, etc. So 2 days ago, the work schedule for next week was put out in the WhatsApp group, and in looking at the schedule, I noticed I'm scheduled to work next Saturday.
Yeah.
Something went wrong there. So I made a screenshot and sent her the WhatsApp and said, "Hey, remember I can't work this day. I told you about it." And she sent me back a voice message basically saying, oh yeah, she knew about it, but she had forgotten to write it down in her book. She has a book that she keeps with her for the different appointments where people can't work. And then she ended it with a snippy comment that was, I'm trying to think how to say it in English. That's okay, but you don't have any more extra wishes, or
that's it for the special
that's
treatment.
It for special treatment. So I sent her back a message. We got it cleared out. I was like, hey, I can trade with somebody if necessary, and she's like, no, that's all right, you have the day off. So was just a couple of messages back and forth. We got it clarified. She's like, yeah, the week after you have to work then a couple hours more to make sure that
well,
I
then you
have
also
my
said,
hours,
because you have to work
and
2 Saturdays a month. And she said, yeah, but then, and you were like, yeah, but remember, I'm also going on vacation at the
Right.
29th. As of the 29th of June, I am on vacation.
right.
Right?
And so she responded, oh, well, then you'll just have to work more hours the week before you go on vacation. And so I just responded with a thumbs up. And I was telling Jennifer that before, well, I started to do this. I started to rehearse in my mind, right? Like what I could say, how I could justify, and as soon as I started doing that, I caught myself and I was like, no, stop. We're not rehearsing anymore. We're not imagining what would
Mm-hmm.
happening, because like I said, we've talked about this in other episodes, that oftentimes we tend to be people that rehearse in our minds, and we create these episodes that most likely will never happen.
We create scenarios in our mind.
Right. That most likely will
stories
never happen.
in our mind.
I mean, you don't want to know how many people I have almost beat to death in my mind, and then it like never panned out.
How many
afterwards I was like, damn,
that you've actually told off, like in your mind. Yeah.
Nah, that usually happens. But anyway, and then it just creates more problems for me. I'm like, damn, I should have kept my mouth shut. But anyway, yeah, so but yeah, before I would have been like, and the rehearsing in my mind started out like,
listen here, bitch.
Going through no, the rehearsing in my mind was back to being a people pleaser, like, trying to justify why I needed this time off. Like, hey, I did my part, I told you about it, and my now self was like, no, stop, you did do your part, you did inform her before and she knew about it, and when she got your information, she was like, oh yeah, it's not a problem. That's always her answer. It's not a problem, we'll work it out. Okay, so now it was a problem, but now I have to feel bad about it. That was like my thinking. No, I'm not going to feel bad about it. I understand that. And apparently, I'm not the only person that needed that day off, or that needs that day off. But I had already, because yesterday I found out at work there are several people that all of a sudden decided they need the day off and they can't because whatever. And my internal thinking is, I'm not going to feel bad about it because I had told her at the appointed time that I needed this day off.
So you told her ahead of time.
Right. Like, I told her before the cutoff time, hey, I cannot work on this day, So why should I feel bad about it? Why should I justify why I need this time off, It's like when you call into work and say, I'm sick, and your boss, are you really sick? Can't you come in? Can't you? No, motherfucker, I'm sick. That's all you got to say. I'm sick.
I'm shit down my ass, dude. What's going on?
Like, you don't need to justify. If you're sick, you're sick. That's it. You don't have to justify. I have a slip disc. I have a cold. I have the flu. Diarrhea. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You're sick. That's all you have to say.
But you shouldn't have to justify also of like a vacation. Well, what are you doing? That's actually in my package.
That's in my contract.
I get so many days off of work. I do not have to tell you where I'm going and what I'm doing.
Exactly.
If I'm just sitting at home or going,
it doesn't matter.
To Spain, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was my whole going back to being a people pleaser. I don't want her to not like me. It's a job. I really like this job. It is very fulfilling for me. But if somebody there doesn't like me, then that's their problem.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it affect me. You know what I mean? Whatever happens at work for me stays at work. And once I leave with a smile on my face. Every day. I mean, even like the days where I like, work like a 7 hour shift and there was like no break, or, a half hour break, but, a half hour goes by like that. And you're like on your feet and you're just constantly bam, 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 bam. When you're done, you're just like, oh, like you finally get to sit down and you're like, oh my God. Even on those days, I leave work with a smile. I go in with a smile. I leave work with a smile, which is something that was not happening at our former place of employment. You know, um, and that's the most important for me, is that my inner self feels good. And there have been a couple of other things that have happened, like in my training. I mean, I'm still learning. I don't know everything, but where like I made a mistake or something, and the tone was a little off, you know. Um, and there too, I started like rehearsing, and I caught myself, and I was like, no, I'm not going to rehearse this. It happened the way it happened. I made a mistake. I didn't know that I had made a mistake, but now I know, so I won't let it happen again. You know?
Well, say like what you were saying though, like there's scenarios like in your head. Also, so that's that's a key point of trying to rewire your brain into positive thinking. First of all, it's catching yourself.
Right.
Negative thought, negative thought. And it's also, let's turn that around into, yeah, but like you were saying, so when you go to bed, you have a routine. I do too. Walk early, turn off the light, and before I go to sleep, I do my gratitude, what I'm thankful for, which is something you said you do too.
Right.
And you said it was like every time you had to come back to, because your mind kept wandering to these scenarios.
My mind kept wandering off and kept like starting to rehearse, and I kept saying, no, we're doing gratitude right now. We're doing what am I grateful for today. And then after I do my gratitude, I do manifestation. Not only for my sleep, but for the next day also. And it was happening in my manifestation also, where my mind was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. No, stop. It's done. And most of the time, my mind is rehearsing shit that already happened. So yesterday I had to keep telling myself it's done, it's over with. We know how it happened. We don't have to play out how it could have happened. You know what I mean? And that is often what we rehearse, is how it could have turned out, how it could have gone, right? How it could have gone down. What I could have said, what I should have said. It don't fucking matter, It's like the monkey in the Lion King, right? He keeps hitting him on the head. Like, why'd you do that? It doesn't matter. It's in the past. You can't change it. You know how it happened. It went down the way it went down. If you don't like the way that it went down, then learn from it. And if it happens again, then you can react differently. Because replaying how it could have gone down or how you wanted it to go, it's not going to change anything. And most of the time it leads to negative self-talk. Oh, I should have said this. I'm so stupid. I should have said this, Again, why didn't I react like that?
That's always like if somebody tells you off and you're like, and you don't know what to say, and then like you get home and then you're like, and then you just think of the best comeback ever.
I know. You're like, man, I should have told that motherfucker, blah, blah, blah.
And you're like, oh, man. Yeah, like, but in that moment, you're just like, like,
right.
Just like, so one of the things in here, we was talking, I don't remember where it was in the list. It was like, with confrontation. I'm really bad with confrontation. Like, I get really anxious. I get butterflies in my stomach. I'm just like, and I can't, like, I'm better now. Like, I mean, calm myself down, meditation, breathe, girl, like when I have my court date with this, with twat waffle and motherfucker. And you were like, breathe, because then you were even at work, but you were able to like, and I was like, okay. Like it was like going into the court, actually, when I saw them walk in and I walked in, my heart was I swear on my freaking life, I thought it was gonna freaking just like
Right. If you had a watch on, it probably would have been like, your heart rate is too fast. You're having a heart attack, or what's going
she's in
on?
defib by the residents. We need a crash cart in here now. I love those things. We're like, they say that like in every episode. They're in defib. Crash cart now.
I know.
Code blue.
I told Uber while we were watching that, I was like, if we're ever in Atlanta, don't take me to the hospital, man, because everybody ends up in defib. Like, like.
My heart was beating.
If we walk in there, I'll be like, just put the pads on me now, so I'm ready.
So, but my heart was beating. It was like so loud, I could hear it, and I was just like. And I was like, trying not to make it noticeable, but like it took a minute for it to calm down.
Right.
But like confrontation for me is really just like I don't like confrontation. I don't like when like I don't know how to if somebody just comes out of the blue and starts like bitching, that's okay for me. This is the scenario I'm going through in my mind. So let's say like I had how many weeks to know before I got to this court date. That hours before, I'm going over in my mind if I see them, what's gonna say, what's gonna go, like and it makes you anxious,
right?
And like also having the conversation with my ex-best friend, like I had so much anxiety going into this meeting because I was playing so many scenarios in my mind, so many. To one where and be like, let me smack a hoe, like, and it's not because I want to, it's just because these scenarios just pop in. I feel like sometimes they just come out of nowhere, and I'm like, wait, I'm not like, I don't want to smack her, I don't want to hurt her, I just want to be able to have nice conversation. But you just go, every scenario to like, smacking a hoe, to crying, to like this friendship's over, which was like in the end anyway, but like, but not in a nice way. You're like, and it just never, and confrontation for me is really hard. That's why, like, telling you, girl, did you hear my message from this morning?
Right.
Because I didn't know how you're going to react. Are you going to be like, yeah, bitch, I did. So fuck what? I am fucking busy right now. I don't have time for your shit. Those are scenarios that a lot of people go through in their head, because it's the negative. It's the, even though it's my bestie, but still, I mean, you could be like, but it's like that negative. That's why I was like, but why would she say that to me?
Right.
At the end, I'm like, why would she? Even if she was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm busy right now. Can I get back to you later? But not in this, yeah, bitch, I heard your shit. I don't care, But you're going, it's in your mind. You're just, because you're so used to, your brain is so wired into the negative.
Right.
And you gotta get it wired to see positive.
Yeah, and that's really hard for me, even now, even as old as I am. And I hate to keep pushing this back to my childhood, but it goes back to my childhood. My brain was raised, if you will, to think I'm stupid. No matter what I do, it's not good enough. I was rebellious. I didn't obey. That's how I was raised. That's how my brain was raised. So sometimes it's really hard to say, stop. This is not you now. This is not what it really is, because my brain is wired, if you will, to think the negative. You know what I mean? Nobody, I don't even need, because this all came from my mom, of course, my narcissistic mother. And I have to say, the job she did as a narcissistic mother, she did really well.
What was it though? These things I sent you, like, So was it? It's never asking the person who broke the contact with the person, why did you do it? It's always like, she's your mother, she's family. They
Right.
always feel like they're taking the side of the narcissist or the person, you know, and
Right.
they never ask the person what
what
could
happened.
but what could have the mother or father or whoever have done for their daughter, son, aunt, whatever, or niece, nephew, what does it matter, brother, sister, to break
Right.
contact with them?
Right.
Like, what could have that person? No, it's always like,
how could you?
It's not that bad, is it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're just like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Like, why do you get to tell me, you know, how I'm supposed to feel
Right.
about, you know, XYZ,
Right.
you know, for your instance, you know, with your mother.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I mean,
you know?
being narcissistic, also, narcissistic people they always have two sides to them. There's always a side that is going on behind closed doors, and there's the side that everybody out in public sees. And the side that everybody out in public sees is always the loving mother, loving father, caring, giving, do anything and everything. It doesn't matter, like you said, if it's mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, whatever, whatever family member it is. But then when you go behind closed doors, um, and of course nobody sees that except those that are behind closed doors. Then you start to realize this person is really narcissistic, and being raised by a narcissistic mother, I'm just now realizing, since you and I started this podcast, I mean, I didn't even realize it when I started down my path of healing. It's really just been since starting this podcast that um I have so I have let me backtrack a little bit. So I have some PTSD from my time in the military, and I'm sure that we all have PTSD from our childhood trauma. And I saw a reel a couple of days ago. Post traumatic stress disorder. And I saw a reel the other day, and they were talking about narcissistic mothers. And there is actually a terminology for someone that has been raised by a narcissistic mother, and it was CPTSD. I don't even remember what the C stands for, anyways.
Probably child.
And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I couldn't even finish watching the reel because it was like a longer reel. And I couldn't even finish watching it, and I was just like,
So, you remember, her name's Gypsy Rose, and she was a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. And her mother, told her she had diabetes and this and that and the other thing, where she ended up killing her mother, and she herself didn't, but somebody else, like this, and I you never heard about that story? Where she's in a wheelchair, said she couldn't walk, but she could. Just like where she started getting older and realizing what her mother was doing, and the only way she felt that she could get out of the situation is by killing her mother.
Okay.
Because her mother would not let her go. Dude, her mother tied her to her bed and had like a dog leash on her, so she would be able to go to the bathroom or something, and then bring her back to her bed. Her mom was mentally not stable. Yeah. She was and she did not want her to leave her side, so she, as it is in this what's it called?
Munchausen syndrome.
Munchausen syndrome by proxy is, where the parents make.
We actually drove through Munchausen in May when we were on our motorcycle tour. I was like, isn't there like a sickness or something named after this? And Wolfer was like, yeah, Munchausen syndrome. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, isn't that when people are like psycho or something? I was like,
that sounds German. Munchausen. But so like, yeah, the parents, the guardian, that the child is sick.
Right.
Like, so yeah, like just I don't know where I was trying to go with this, but like I mean
We're
her
talking
mother
about
was I don't
narcissistic mothers.
no her mom if her mother was no her mother was mentally unstable was what
Well,
she
I
was.
think all narcissistic people are mentally unstable. You can't. How can you be the way that you are and not be mentally unstable? You know what I mean? I mean, that's. I don't know. I think narcissistic people are sick. Um, definitely sick in the head. Um, yeah.
But
You know,
this
I
is
don't
wait
understand how you can claim to love someone so much and then cause this said person that you love so much anguish and pain and
mm-hmm. This is no this is a good example of breaking the cycle
mm-hmm.
because your mom never knew. I don't know how she grew up. How was your abuela? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that your abuela was a bad person. You know,
Dude,
I'm just saying like
I
this
mean,
is.
she was nice to us grandkids, but my mom tells stories, and I can see it happening. Of I mean, she had 10 kids, right,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
her own, and she when she married my grandfather, he brought a. They tell me he was 6 months old baby into the marriage because his parents died in a fire. So he brought his nephew with him. So they actually had 11 kids. I mean, they started out with a baby, and then she herself had 10 kids. But anyways, my mom often told stories of my grandma beating him with a horsewhip.
nah. But this is yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not, but that's the stories that she told. I know she told stories of my grandma going after my grandpa with rolling pin. I could see it happening. I mean, you couldn't be, like she was definitely my abuela. She was definitely not um fancy clothes, sitting in the parlor sipping tea kind of woman. I mean, they had a little farm. There was work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of fucking mouths to feed.
Mm-hmm.
you know um where we grew up, um even back then, it was a main path for a lot of the illegal immigrants coming from Mexico to travel to, so it was not the safest area to live in.
Okay. Uh-huh.
um Even though I know people that talked about my grandma, and they would be like, they always knew that was like a safe haven where they could stop, and she would be like, she'd give the she'd give him the water hose and be like, first thing you got to do is take a bath. So you know where I get my sense of smell from. And then she would make them dinner, but she would make them work for their food. Uh-huh. She'd be like, "Oh, I need the grass mowed or whatever,"
But that's just the.
But yeah, so that's how my mom supposedly grew up. I mean, and there were a lot of kids. They had to work all the time on the farm. They went to school. They had to work. They were very poor.
Mm-hmm.
I know my mom tells stories about them being made fun of in school because they didn't have clothes, so my grandma would make clothes from the old flour sacks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. However,
so going back into the last podcast, you're being made fun of because you're poor,
right?
But you don't have the clothes. And think about back in the day.
Yeah.
Like was in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, like that's going way. I mean, getting mobbed or being made fun of goes back to where you go in the 1400s where they burned witches. You know what I mean? But it's like, think about that though.
Yeah.
Well, even back in the day, it was like, you had money or you didn't, and there wasn't no in between. I mean, you're getting made, you have a holes in your shoes and you have clothes from flour sacks.
Mm-hmm. Or they wore a lot of hand me downs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but so for me, that's like, you're breaking a cycle because that's how it keeps getting passed on from generation to generation. That's how it was. That's how I was like, yeah, no, but like, why are you like spanking me and negative reinforcement? You know what I mean? That's not what I want to be. That's not the parent I want to be to my daughter. Until, you know, when you wake up one day and you're like, wow, okay, the last time you spanked your kid, and you're like, why am I doing this? Because I swear, I'm like, I'm never gonna be like you. I'm gonna let my daughter, you know, I'm never gonna spank. I'm never hitting my kids.
Right.
I was like, that was a promise that I had made to myself back then, you know, when my parents would like, you know, you get beat. And it was never like in public. They're like, wait till we get home. And you're like, fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Dude,
that's what we were talking about before. Like, you know, that on the way home, you were just like, and the anxiety that you had, you know, it was like, it just kept building.
I'll reprimand my daughter in public, you know? Like, I'm not scared to reprimand my daughter in public. I'm not going to wait till we get home. Like, I don't want her to be afraid. Like, you know, this anxiety and fear you had.
Right.
You know, of your mom, wait till we get home, and they're just amping themselves up, and you're just sitting there like, knowing, dude, this is gonna be an ass whooping. You know what I mean? Wait till we get home. Oh, those were the worst words. I'm not waiting till we get home to tell my daughter. I mean, I'm not smacking her anyway.
Right.
But I'm gonna be like, dude, you know, you have an attitude. Maybe you should calm the fuck down.
Right.
Like, I'll call her out, and she'll be like, Mommy, you're being loud. And I'm like, yeah, but you're being a bitch. Like, stop it. Like, you know, because you're not getting what you want, and you're going to start throwing a fit. And then she stops. Because she does not like that. Like, that's embarrassing for her. If I start getting loud in the Rossman or the DM or whatever, you know?
Right.
And, yeah, like, I hated that. Wait till we get home. Because you can't smack your kids in public, but you can do it behind closed doors, can't you? And then you get the fucking beating. Pull down your pants. My dad didn't need a comb, but my mom needed a red comb.
Right.
We, both me and my brother and my sister, when we'll be like, yeah, remember mom and her red comb? Yep.
Yeah.
That we like, you know, after a while, I'm like, whatever, dude, your spankings, they don't hurt me anymore. I kind of like it. Let's go, you know? Like I said, I've said in my other podcast before, I think that stems from, you know, I like being spanked. So I don't, and you're like, no, I don't know, because I don't, but but like saying, like, breaking the cycle, stopping it. I mean, of course, you know, you're not gonna have any kids anymore, but your son might have kids one day,
right?
And he's gonna know, like, you stop that cycle, that narcissist of the, you know, and he's gonna be able to be better for his kids.
I hope so, because his father's narcissistic too.
And
you know,
and I'm now I'm for my kids, you know, of course you can't do anything about the other side's family, and that's also kind of like, but it's like I said, that cycle's broken. The cycle of, I mean, I don't, you know, I don't think you were telling your son that he's stupid.
No.
You know, or he can't do anything, or wait till we get home, come smack you down. No. You know, like those things. But that's what also said, like, when I was doing my inner child work, and my coach saying, like, she didn't know better, you know, because they were never taught anything different than, other than, you know, like, my grandpa had 7 brothers and sisters, and it was the same thing, you know, not a lot of money, always having to work on the farm, and that just gets
my dad
passed
my
down.
dad, they were also 7 siblings, but the beating stemmed from both sides through the religion.
Yeah.
Spare the rod, spoil the child. Yeah, whatever, you know. Yeah, there was no spoiling the child. They just, you know, fucking took the rod and beat shit out of you.
Yeah.
And it was both sides, because that's what was preached from the pulpit, regardless if it was, you know, Catholic or Christian or whatever, you know. And they believed that, and they continued it on in their religious life, and, you know, passed it on down to us, so to speak, you know.
I'm just saying, for me, and when I was like already in my teenage years, saying I'm not gonna be like you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the parent you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I meant it. And I meant it in the context of I'm not gonna hit my child. I'm not gonna do negative reinforcement with my child.
Right.
And you know, I'm sure that there's people out there that don't understand the way that I am with my teenage daughter right now, and I'm that way with her. What she needs me to be. And I'm not going to try and go down a path that I know is not going to even bring anything anyway.
Right, it's not going to help her.
Like, I, you know, am going to actually sit down with her and be like, hey, you know, you do need to go back. You need your 10th grade. You need this, like, you know,
education,
because, just knowing what mine is here in Germany and not being able to do what I want to do, it's just like it's nothing that you can do about it because it's the fucking school system. It's and that's one of those things. It's been like that, and I don't get it either. We're learning shit we don't need for our future. We're learning.
How many times have you used algebra since you got out of school?
Never. But
me
like,
either.
I can't.
What did I say last week? Last week's episode, or the week before? I can't remember. I'm still looking for X.
Yes, we're still looking for X, and you know, XY equals purple to.
I did find X a couple of times here in Germany. X.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only.
I have an X.
Yeah. Me too.
But like.
But there was nothing else to the equation, you know. No. It wasn't like, you know, it was like asshole equals X, you know. That was the whole equation. Yes. You know?
But like, I'm like, it's not my rules. I don't make them. Like, you have to, and it's just, it's like something that you need. But if you have that, what is required, you can go and do something that you want to do. You know, you can go into...
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what it is that you want to do. I mean, it doesn't matter if she wants to be creative or, you know, something technical or whatever it is. But it's like you say, it is how the system is here. And yeah, as rebellious as I am from nature, there are some things you just have to go along to get along. You know what I mean?
Like I understand.
You can't always fight the system, you know?
Like, I understand, like, you know, I that's why, like, I always say, I understand you completely. I mean, she's just, like, the spitting image of me and her age. Like, I'm not even fucking shitting you. I'm just like, okay, that's how I was, you know? Right. And instead of, like, going against it, like, maybe, like, my mom, you know? Like, I'm trying to be understanding of it.
Right.
And, like, I don't want her to smoke pot. But if I say don't, she's going to do it anyway.
Right.
I know I had friends back in the day where their parents were like, I know you're not allowed to drink, but I'd rather supply it and you do it here and knowing that you're safe and not being out drunk driving or you know, something happening
somebody
to
putting
you.
Something in your drink or...
Then I know you're safe here.
Right.
So, and I can control it, you know, I can be like, yeah, you're cut the fuck off. No more, no, you know? Right. So, here, she's gonna do it. She's gonna do it regardless if I tell her who I don't want her to or not. You know. Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm not allowing her to have like the big ass party, you know, and having the smoke fest at my house or whatever. But like, you know, if it's her and a friend, you know, we'll go out in the backyard and, you know, toke up. I know a lot of people who would be like, why, you know, how can you allow that?
She's going to do it anyway.
If I'm allowing her, I'm just, you know, I'm trying to keep her safe. Maybe if she had something bad and something happened, I'm there. I can, you know, and I can control it. I can see what she's doing. I know she's safe. I'm not in my head because she's out, you know.
Right.
And writing her constantly, where are you? Are you okay? What are you doing? For me, I'm like, it's okay right now because she's 16. She can drink illegally beer and wine, I think, here in Germany.
Right.
Yeah?
They just can't drink hard stuff, you know.
So it's okay for her at 16.
Which doesn't make sense anyways.
Because alcohol is going to be killing, you know, it's not good for you anyway. And when you can start, you know, when I was 15, 16, I was like, I mean, I'm not allowed to in America either, but, you know, fuck it, you know, we'll find somebody.
Yeah, we were still drinking anyways, of course. You always found somebody to buy you something. Strawberry Hill. Whoa.
But what was it? I can't remember. Anyway, like, but it's not okay for her to start smoking weed, but it's okay for her to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I find weed to be way better than alcohol in this sense.
It is.
And I'm not gonna say way better. It's not better. I wouldn't rather her do any of them. But if of the two, then I'd rather she'd be like, I'm gonna smoke some grass.
Yeah.
She's calm, she's relaxed, she's chilling, you know, she's not out there trying to, you know, fight somebody when you're drunk.
The worst thing is probably that she finds all your gummy bears and eats them.
And I know that there's a lot of I mean, I'm not the only parent that's probably like that, but I know that there's parents out there that would not agree with my parenting, and that's okay because it's my child and that's what I do, and that's what I am gonna do. And I know that even my oldest daughter doesn't really feel like that's like the, you know, like, and I'm just like, yeah, but that's why I'm the mom, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I feel like I should know what's best for my daughter. And I know when I'm starting, she feels like I'm lecturing her, and she'd be like, yeah, I understand it. I found, you know, I was the same way. Like, you told me once, leave it like that. You know, you don't have to tell me 50 times over in a row the same thing, you know? You told me once, it went in one ear, maybe out the other.
Right.
But I got it. I heard it. Leave me alone. And it's just because I guess I know because I've been there.
Right.
I'm like I said, it's like a mini me, and that age and everything. I just want her to know though that she does need to get the education. She needs her education. She needs her, like, you know, that she can, whatever it is she wants to do, be able to do it, you know. And
yeah,
who knows that at 16?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm not gonna say there's not people out there who know what they want to do. At, you know, I mean, there's people who said that, you know, at a young age, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a police officer or firefighter, and they actually go and do that, you know. I mean, but those are, I think, far and few between who actually say at 5 years old that they want to be a firefighter, and then when they do turn, you know, whatever
when
age
they grow up, they're actually a firefighter.
I'm like, oh, okay, you know, like how. I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't happen; it does, but like, I remember in the 7th grade, I was like, I want to be a teacher.
Really? Okay.
I wanted to be a grade school teacher. I still feel like it, you know, would have been not like the worst path for it to go on. Not now at this day and age. Well, I mean, grade school kids, but you know, it's like,
nah,
I don't know.
No.
You know, but like one of the things. So okay, maybe I'm grateful I didn't pursue that, but that, you know, that was in the 7th grade, so like
right.
To where I also wanted to be a cosmetologist. Thought that was really cool with hair and makeup and everything. That was still really interesting. Yeah. And then it changed to like, okay, yeah, no, I want to be a
you want to be a
conditor,
conditor.
Yeah.
Pastry chef?
Yes, thank you. Like I wanted to be a pastry chef, and I still would like, because you know I made that cake for my friend's dinner review party. That was really so much fun. Like getting, oh, this is what I want to do. Oh yeah, let me get these ideas and like coming with it, you know, and like being like how many hours was in the kitchen, but it was fun. It was so much fun. Like I could still, you know, see myself doing that. But like yeah, like I think also what you want to do, it changes from, you know,
definitely
from ages to like I want to be a teacher to I want to be a stripper. No. But you know,
yeah, I wouldn't make much money.
Not anymore. Back in the day,
not even back in the day. I'd be like, you touch me, don't touch me, motherfucker.
They're not allowed to touch you
You know,
anyway.
I'm always ready for a fight, man.
They're not allowed to touch you anyway.
So. How are they gonna put fucking dollar bills in your G-string? Like, they gotta touch you somehow. Like, put it on the floor, I'll pick it up.
I'm talking about like ass grabs and
I wouldn't. No,
titty grabbing.
You know me. I'm like no touchy. But
and then
anyway,
you'd be like, boom, yeah. So
yeah, that's funny.
So
yeah. I mean, I often wonder what. Here we go again, rehearsing. How my life would have turned out if my mom would have let me go to cosmetology school. And you know, I know I most likely would have never left where I was. I mean,
you think?
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, but like, so
I mean, I would have stayed in Texas most definitely.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that's what I mean.
I don't mean like stay in a small town though.
I wouldn't. No, I don't think I would have stayed in a small town.
Like we go like back, you know, to a bigger town. Let's go to San Antonio,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
or something.
Like
so you
Corpus Christi or San Antonio or
Corpus Christi. Yeah.
Corpus Christi would have been perfect for me because close to the beach.
Yeah,
and I love the beach. But anyway,
Corpus Christi.
I probably would not have joined the military and would not have ended up over here, and then I wouldn't have met my husband. Yeah. So if I could have just like skipped everything and gone straight to meeting my husband now, that.
But if you if you go back and you're gonna these go back play scenarios like what if, and it all for me just it leads to if I would have done anything differently, I wouldn't be here where I am now.
Yeah, that's that. My husband and I have talked about this before. Like like I've said things like oh, I wish, blah blah blah, and then I say no. You know what? I take that back because everything that I have done leading up to now is what brought me here and brought me to being in the right place at the right time and meeting him now. And I didn't realize it at the time, but meeting him and coming together with him was the start of my healing process. Because looking back now, I realize that I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back now, every person that I've ever been with up until my husband right now has always had some kind of narcissistic quality. Either they were like total narcissists like my ex, just like my mother, or they had some kind of narcissistic quality.
So this is going back to our brain is thinking this is normal.
Right.
Right. Because we don't know anything different. So we're going to go to a partner where we feel
normal, because normal is safe.
Yeah, like okay, this is okay, this is safe, this is what I'm used to. My brain doesn't know any better than
right.
And so and I'm pretty sure he wasn't like at that beginning.
My ex?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I mean,
that's the great thing about narcissists, is that they're so good at putting on an act. At the beginning it was, dates and discos and flowers and dinners and, and then we got pregnant and we got married and I got pregnant and that was it. Then the real person came out. But I mean, I've told you stories about, I think I told you this story before about, when I first got together with my husband now and we weren't married, and I scratched his car on the fence, right?
I think you've even said this in the podcast before.
I may have, and I got out of the car and I just started walking down the road because I was like, "Fuck!"
You're like, "Oh man!" Like you could just feel like the beating coming.
I know. I just, and he was like, "Yeah, it's too bad that you scratched it," but
and that's also so.
And I was like, "What?"
And your brain,
like, what's wrong with you? Not what's wrong with me. What's wrong with you?
And your brain, your brain didn't know that's actually safe. That's actually
my brain didn't know that was possible.
And that's why you were saying to him, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, it was like
instead of him being like
something out of a movie.
It's just a car, and not him. I mean, I put a big ass scratch in my car, and I wasn't even together with my ex, and I said, "Oh, he's gonna be so pissed," and then I was like,
"What?
I'm not even together with him. This is actually my car. I paid it off." But I was thinking he's going to be super pissed about me putting a scratch. Dude, it wasn't just it was a really deep motherfucking long dude. I was so pissed. It's covered up now, but whatever.
Right.
And but I'm also like, I would also be like the same thing, and something my daughter says sometimes too, where she's like, I get mad because she's like she eating on the couch or something, and she just says to me sometimes, it's just a couch. It's not that deep. It's just a couch. Like, and I'm like, but my brain is so wired to like, you can't, ruin nice things. You can't,
Right.
like, yeah. And it's just like, yeah, but my mom is just a couch.
Yeah.
Like, it's not,
It's a thing. It's replaceable. It can be cleaned.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm over here freaking the fuck out, like, because, she might, and all along and at the end, I'm the one who fucks, puts a stain on the couch
Because you're trying to be so careful, right? And you're like, fuck!
No, this was a while back when I drank alcohol and I had a whole glass of fucking wine and I spilled it on the couch.
Okay.
And I said that to myself at that point
Fucking
in time.
alcoholic.
Yeah, no. I was like, I'm over here freaking bitching at my kids about eating and staining the couch, and I'm the one who did it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, and sopping it up and cleaning it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also a thing though too. I'm like, yeah, but she had gotten nail glue on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
No, but if you would have come to me and told me, but she didn't want to come to me because she knew I was gonna freak the fuck out.
Right.
She got nail glue on the couch. So I mean, I understand the side of why she wouldn't tell me, but on the other side, I was like, but if you would have told me then, instead of me finding it, it's already hardened.
Right.
I can't get it out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you would have told me then, I could have gotten it out.
Right.
And that's why I'm just like, yeah, but is that worth freaking the fuck over my daughter for getting nail glue on the couch? But I'm like, but if you would have listened to me in the first place and not do your nails on the couch, because that's not where we do nails. Don't do your fucking nails on the couch.
Right.
Like, is this like, seriously though? Why can't you just listen and be like, I don't do my nails on the, I sit on the table, because if something did happen to spill, it's on the table. You can get it cleaned up. You know what?
Yeah.
But like, yeah. And anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
I have issues with that whole listening thing. Like, I know when my son was growing up, I often said to him, this is maybe something morbid for a mother to say to her child, but this is what I often said to him. You need to listen. Not because I said so, because one day it could be really important. It could be life or death. And me telling you, because I know better, could be the life or, because with my ex, I always had war scenarios in my head. My dreams when I was with my ex were always about war. And my child was always with me. I mean, we're always in a war zone. It's like the only dreams I ever fucking had. And I quit having those dreams when I got together with my husband now. But anyway, so for me, it was always, if I tell you to be quiet, you need to be quiet.
It could be life or death.
Because it could be life or death.
Yeah.
And it is this training for what could be, like, so oftentimes when we watch TV, because, like we watch a lot of like murder mystery, whodunit kind of shit, right? And, there's always like this last series that we watched, right? There's a police officer. She goes into where she knows shots have been fired, and she goes in by herself. I'm like, why do you fucking wait for backup, you dumbass?
They
right?
never wait for backup.
And she ends up getting shot, and she ends up dying. And I was like, see, I fucking told you, you should have waited for backup, you stupid bitch. You'd still be alive. Your teenage daughter wouldn't be fucking crying. And Uwe's like, just like, shaking his, and then Uwe's always like, shots.
Treasure.
My treasure.
Treasure.
Babe. He's like, babe, that's how they wrote it. And I'm like, I don't care if that's how they wrote it. It's wrong. That's why she died, and that's always his answer. That's how they wrote it. But that's often like the thing. And so I was telling him, I don't even know how long ago it's been. The first time that we went for a walk through like the wooded area, right? And I heard something, and I just put my hand out, and you were like, all of a sudden you stopped and you were quiet. And I was like, see, Jennifer can go to war with me, man. We can survive, because she knows the deal, man.
You were like, you did something, and I was, because
I just held my hand out. And I was you were like automatically quiet, and then I was like looking around, and then we saw the deer, right? Because I was like, I heard something. I know there's something. There's, like, and my thing is always, not necessarily, oh, we're going to see something pretty, like, oh, it could be dangerous because we're in the woods, there's wild animals, like, do I need to take out my knife, where's my pepper spray, whatever. But so I was telling my husband, I was like, I could go to war with Jennifer because she listens.
You put your hand out. Well, I thought you did some sort of, but then you did a hand gesture or something. But
I think I pointed to where I heard the noise,
and then or you just put your hands out and be like, don't say a fucking word. Like I was like, because if when the zombies come,
exactly,
yeah.
But most people would have been like, what is it? And then we wouldn't have seen that deer because the deer would have been like scared away, and I'd be like, damn it, we could have seen something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we get each other. That's all.
Exactly.
So it's like
on the same wavelength.
Yes. So I mean, we have like 5 minutes, but we don't have to. We don't
always have to be an hour.
Yes, it does. It's the rules. No, I'm just joking. So this was also an episode where kind of on a couple of different subjects, but negative thinking, trying to rewire your brain into thinking positive. Like I will, like they said, it gets to be easy for me. Everything is always working out for me.
I will always have more than enough money.
There's a mantra: I am enough. I do enough, and I am enough. Like there's just certain things that when you start spiraling to the negative thoughts, right? Because sometimes maybe one might come and you can get rid of it, or turn it around. But like before, I just went into a spiral, right? Like and I had an anxiety, or just remember where I was sitting at the table and then she was my best friend. She was like, "Are you okay? What happened?" I just started and I couldn't get out of it, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom and I still couldn't get out of it, to where I went out and I said, I have to go home now. And I went down a fucking dark
down the rabbit hole.
I was just and I couldn't, and I was like, what are you, like, seriously, I was spiraling, like, because if you can't catch it right away, you're just gonna keep going and going and going, to where you're just like, okay, and you're thinking the worst scenarios ever in your whole mind. And so I it's just, even if it's just one, and not happening, everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out, and it just it plays on repeat, and it just keeps going over. And it doesn't have to be a mini. It can be one. You pick one, find one, and it's gonna help you. It gets to be easy for me. I always have enough. I am enough. I do enough. I have enough.
Smart enough.
Just something that's just gonna be able to get you out of that going down the dark rabbit hole and spiraling down. And
well, I think too, it's like you said, it's important to catch it in the beginning, because I don't think that it's something that, like we talked about earlier, I'm going to wake up one day and it's all going to be gone. I think it's something that is going to follow me until the day I die. Just like the trauma, the childhood trauma, it's not ever going to be gone. Like there was this one suggestion, what was it called? Living our lives without trauma. I think it's always going to be there in one form or the other. Maybe not always like 100% present, but not somewhere like in the back of your head,
in the background,
your subconscious. And noticing when you start rehearsing to stop it right away and do something else, like make your brain do something, like not be like, okay, let's keep going over and over and over and over and over, what could have been, what would have been, what I should have said, blah blah. No, it happened, accept it. If it happens again, we can react differently, but we're not going to rehearse right now how we're going to react differently next time. You know what I mean? Because then we just start, like you said, start spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. If you don't catch it, like you say, it's like a funnel. You just go down the rabbit hole, and then trying to climb back up out of that is really hard.
So you can either, some people, if we're living in the past, or the future. That's where the anxiety comes, you know, regret or anxiety, the future, what's going to come. Instead of, we need to live in the present. We need to live now. What's happening now? What can we do now? And yeah,
like my husband is really good about doing that. Like I used to say before we started this podcast, Germans have a saying, you paint the entire wall black before anything's ever happened. And that was me. I would, anything that was like, you know, oh, we have to go to the hospital next week. Oh, it's going to be bad, you know, like the worst thing's going to happen, or whatever it was. It didn't matter what it was, you know. He would say his brother's coming over, and I would just automatically start having all these like horror scenarios in my mind, you know, what was going to happen, what I was going to say, and whose coffee I was going to spit in, and you know, and since we started this podcast, I have really gotten better at not doing that anymore. And my husband would always say, "Why are you painting the entire wall black?" As the Germans say, it hasn't happened yet. You don't know how it's going to turn out. He was right, but me, I was like, "Nah, I know that, you know, it's going to be, my soul is black, it's going to be black." You know what I mean? And now I have learned why. I can't control what's going to happen. I cannot change what has happened. I can control and change right now. What am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I manifesting? What do I want? That's what I can control. And that I have learned, like, since we've started doing this podcast. I mean, I have, like, really, really, really learned that, you know? And it all started because you told me to stop being so negative.
Yeah.
And
I do know a thing or two.
Yeah, just a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. But that's what kicked it all off, you know, like, and this led me down this path, if you will, the yellow brick road. You know, follow the yellow brick road.
Yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick. Sorry, I had to get into that.
Try to get it out, man.
The Wizard of Oz. I love that. I love that movie.
I did too, but I like the original one. I don't like the remake. But anyway.
Oh no, yeah, the original with
yeah, I don't know what
her
Zoe. No, yeah,
no, the original.
Zoe? No, the original. Yeah, the original was
what's her name? Dorothy.
Yeah, exactly. Dorothy.
Yeah, not Julie Andrews. That's what I have in my head, but that's not it either. Okay. Well,
Judy
something.
Yeah. Yeah. She was the mom of Liza Minnelli.
Ah.
Yeah. What's her name? Judy? No, not Judy Andrews.
Is it Julie Andrews? Judy Andrews? Could be,
Judy,
but yeah.
Judy something. Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Squirrel. Yeah, but I mean, that's how I think of it. You know, like we said the other day, with something that happened, right? Not my circus, not my monkeys. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Is it in my lane? No.
Yeah.
Then I'm staying in my lane.
Staying in your lane.
I'm living right now. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm concentrating on what I want to do. I'm manifesting the positive in my life. And when the negative comes, I can, for the moment, say, stop. We're not rehearsing that.
Yeah.
You know? We're manifesting something totally different. We're manifesting only the positive, you know?
Yeah. That's nice. So, I like that for you.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
your fault.
It's I mean, yeah, it's a working process of rewiring your brain to see the positive and think positive, but it's doable. You can do it, and you are also like, as I say, living proof. I mean, you're like you know, of somebody who was very, very dark and negative to like you're an example that it's possible. It is. So on that note,
now we're over an hour.
Yes.
Now. So now, bye. We're done.
Yeah, of negative thinking and breaking cycles. Also, like, you know, kind of a couple subject up on this episode, but yeah. So thank you for listening again, as always.
Right.
We appreciate all of you who listen. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
We
I checked on the statistics this week and I was surprised to find that we have listeners in
Japan,
in Azerbaijan, in Russia.
yes.
Yeah, so thanks for listening and continue to like and follow us. We appreciate your support. And as always, we welcome your comments in the different, I was going to say in the verschiedene, in the different social media platforms that we use. So until next week.
Bye.
Bye.